Welcome to another AVA equipment video review. Today we are going to review this Alaris Asena CC Mark III. CC means critical care. This pump has been designed for ICU, but it can be used for anesthesia as well. The major difference between this pump and the GH model is this pressure sensor here that can be used with dedicated infusion lines. On the front of the pump we have this quite big screen, several different soft key buttons. We have 4 LEDs here, a 5th LED here that's for the alarm. This one is for the battery. This one is on if the pump is plugged in. This one is on when the pump is not infusing. This one blinks when the pump is infusing, and this one blinks when the pump is giving an alarm. So if we go on the back of the pump, we have a clamp for an infusion pole, a dedicated clamp for a specific rack, power cord connector, infrared connector, RS232 port for a connection to a computer for TCI, in example. Going back to the front, now the pump is giving an alarm. So as you can see, there are 2 visual alarms and 1 sound alarm as well. When we turn on the pump, this is the screen that we're gonna have. The pump is asking if we want to use the previous infusion settings or if we want to start a new infusion. So in this case we press yes, and the pump is asking to load a syringe. You can open the clamp here. We can An interesting feature of this pump is that it can automatically recognize the syringe type and the syringe size. If we are not happy with the type, we can change it pressing this button. If we are happy, we can confirm it. So this is the basic screen of the pump, where we have ml per hour, so the infusion rate that we can set pressing these buttons here. We have the volume that has been infused. We can reset it pressing this button and pressing yes. We can set the volume to be infused. And here we have an indicator for the pressure alarm that we can modify pressing this button, and we can increase it or decrease it. So the pump is going to give us an alarm if the pressure inside the line reaches this level. So if we start an infusion now, we see here the time left. Prior to that, we have to change the syringe. We can give a bolus while the pump is infusing. We can set an infusion rate, and we can press and keep pressed this button to give a bolus. And if we release it, the pump is going back to the normal infusion. We can also change the infusion rate while the pump is still infusing, just changing it here and confirming it, pressing this button. The pump has other interesting features that we can select pressing this button here. We have drugs and dosing, where we have several different drugs libraries. Those libraries are in this pump because a service specialist put them in this pump. If you don't have these libraries in this menu, you're gonna have just the dosing only option that we can select. We can select the dose units. There are several different options for this. We can select one. We can select the weight of the patient, 4 kilograms in example. Now the pump is giving us a preset diluent volume accordingly to the size of the syringe that we have, but we can change it. And then we can select a drug amount, so the amount of the drug that is in that diluent volume. So in this case is 10 milligram in 10 ml, so 1 milligram per ml. Oh, actually, we can also change units, so you can select the drug amount in milligram, in grams, in nanograms, and micrograms. Then we select the dose rate, like 2 milligram per kilogram per minute. And the pump automatically gives us the ml, the result in ml per hour, obviously. If it's too fast, the pump cannot infuse it. So now the pump gives us summary. And so, as you can see, we cannot actually use this feature because we don't have a pressure set in our pressure sensor. So we have to use dedicated infusion lines to use this function. But if we had a pressure set fitted, we could have decided to infuse in milligram per kilogram per minute, or we could have changed here in ml per hour. So as you see, the arrow moves up and we can change our infusion rate in ml per hour, and the pump is going to tell us the change in dose rate. So we can go here and go back on dose rate, or we can go on drugs and dosing and clear drugs and dosing setting. We can set volume to be infused over time also here in this menu. We can give a label to the pump, so selecting a drug name so that we are not going to be confused if we have more than one pump in our setting. So just doing now the pump is telling us that, it was telling us that the rate was too high. So as you can see here, there is the label that we selected. We have also a 24-hour log, and or we can use event log with all the events, and we can press this button to show us at what time happened that we changed something in this pump. So in the end, I think this pump is very well built. It seems very durable. It has a lot of very useful functions. The only drawback is that to use some of these functions, we need to use a dedicated infusion line. So I think that's all for today, and thank you for watching.